Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. The following content may involve explicit language and materials, so listener discretion is advised. Welcome back, everyone. With me today, I have an awesome guest. I know he's more of a quartet, if it's four, right?
Yeah, sure. Give or take.
Although I'm now picturing you all singing in a quartet, which would be actually really funny if you could do that.
That picture's going to exist at some point now. We're going to speak it into the universe and it's going to happen.
But this is Travis with the Banter podcast. I got to go on their podcast a while back and we had so much fucking fun. It was fantastic. A lot of fun. I want to give you an opportunity to share with everybody kind of what your podcast is about and a little bit about you guys. So maybe like where they can find you, stuff like that.
Sure. Natasha, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm super pumped to be on here. When you were on, we briefly talked about how conspiracies, cryptids, ghosts, all that kind of stuff has always been a kind of a background thing for some of us. We're like into it, but never at the forefront. But like when we all kind of learned that we're all a little bit into it, we all kind of like nerded out later. So thank you, first of all. Second of all, we are the Banter podcast, unscripted comedy podcast where we debate really, really important topics. You know, like the we ask the hard hitting questions like what's the best Starburst flavor, or which cereal box mascot would be best to help you rob a bank. Things that like the public needs to know these answers, right? So that's what we're here for. We provide a service to the community. And we just have a really good time, and we have wonderful guests as such as yourself on the show, and just do it for laughs. And we're also on Spotify, we're on Google Podcasts, and we are on, I think we're on Amazon Podcasts, and we're on Apple Podcasts as well. We have a LinkedIn, we have a TikTok soon, we have an Instagram, we got all that other stuff in there too. So just go find us, probably _Banter if you're looking for us.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you being here, and I still laugh about our conversations, and every time I see a food truck.
Yes. Ben will never live that down. Food trucks being a fast food place. That is not true.
Starbucks. I can't stop laughing. It is fantastic. But today, for those of you who can't see what's happening and going on with the video, what the hell are you waiting for? Go subscribe to the Patreon, because that is the only place you're going to get our video.
Do it.
We do. We have it all, both sides here. We're a little dark. We're a little creepy. And we are going to talk about some real life experiences. And I don't just mean we went online and Googled some shit and found some stories. No, this is shit that we dealt with ourselves. And I can't wait, because I love sharing my stories because they're super crazy. And I really like to hear everybody else's to kind of get a feel for, you know, what have they seen? What have they encountered or experienced and everything, just to see if anything is similar to what I went through or whatever. So, you know, we could compare. So I have a few that I have here, and I'm going to run through mine, and then I'm going to hand you the baton.
Yes. Yes, and please.
Pop over. Also, for everybody, just so you know, out there listening, there is another episode out there that is not all, some of the interesting experiences I've had that I'm sitting in.
I can't wait to listen to that.
So there's that. Also, if you're listening, I wonder if anything's going to be on here, because usually when you talk about the spooky come back. Yes, and it's fantastic. So as you listen to episodes, I leave that shit in. So I pick up EVPs, and some of them are funny, some of them not so much. Either way, it's all in there. So keep your ears open. And
let's go.
Okay. Deep breath. All right. Scary stories. Again, there's many stories, dark and spooky, that a lot of people, you know, they question it. They don't really believe it. They seem kind of outlandish. It's just really hard to comprehend what's actually happening. or they think it's specks of dust, or your ears are just hearing things, or it's the light, right? It's just you didn't really see anything. You're playing tricks on you. But witnessing firsthand these events made me realize that one, apparently I'm a little sensitive. Two, things really like me. And three, there's some fucked up shit out there.
Yep.
So, all right. So I grew up in this old house. My family built it. Before that house was built, there was this very small, old house, literally across the pond.
Hmm. Got it.
It was
Following.
when you come down the road, it had like an oval driveway that was lined with trees, only in a circle around the driveway. And at the back portion of the oval, there was a street light towards the road, and the driveway drove back, and you actually went past the pond. And that used to be where the rickety ass old house was that my great grandmother lived in. They since tore it down, and my aunt and uncle built a house there. So as I was growing up in this house over here, my aunt and uncle and cousins were in that house. We were all like super close, and we spent a lot of time together going back and forth. That'll come into play later. So just wanted to give you a kind of a picture of what it looked like. So I was probably about 15, 16, I would say. Very excited to, drive the family car, even though it was just my aunt's house, maybe 300 yards away. And it's late. I have no idea. I cannot for the life of me remember exactly what the hell it was. I think my mom needed sugar, but it was like dark outside, so I don't know what the hell she needed it for at that hour. Either way, she needed something from my aunt. And I was like, cool, I will do it. Give me the key.
Done. Gimme.
I will drive this bitch up there and get the sugar. And she was like, okay, cool. Toss me the keys. And I mosey on out and doing the responsible thing, right? I get in
Wear your
gold,
seatbelt.
this gold Mercury van. Like,
Ah, yes.
yeah, like old school.
Hmm.
Get in. I put my seatbelt on. I don't know why, because I was just whatever. I just put my seatbelt on because that's what I do. And I'm, checking my mirrors. I'm like, okay, I can see. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I took driver's ed and I actually listened. I don't know. But I'm checking all my stuff. I put the key in the ignition, and instantly I just stop. And holy crap, I've got it again now. I have goosebumps
Hmm.
everywhere. Oh my goodness. Okay. All of the hair stood up, goosebumps everywhere. I'm looking at the steering wheel, but in my peripherals, there is something in my passenger seat, a
Oh.
big in my passenger seat.
Ooh.
And I thought maybe I was losing my mind. So I was like, okay, okay. I was like, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's all right. 10 and 2. I'm like, all right, I've got to look, right? I've
Hmm.
got to. And I just really, really slowly just turned my head, expecting that whenever I get over there, whatever it is was just a figment of my imagination and it would be gone. So I look, motherfucker's still there. It is this black. Okay, have you ever seen the movie Spirited Away? Or
I'm
know that
not.
it's called No Face?
I know about No Face. I haven't seen
Oh,
the movie, but I know what you're talking about.
No Face.
So a silhouette, kind of.
Yeah, minus
Yeah.
the mask, no
Right.
mask.
Right.
But where its eyes should have been were
Hmm.
these big sockets that, although this thing was black, its eyes were almost blacker than black, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
And it was staring right at me. It had, sorry, it had this long black arm, and it had its hand on the dashboard.
Like
So it's
bracing or like just.
so okay, so it's like sitting in the passenger seat, but it's turned like this, looking at me,
Hmm.
and its arm is like resting on the dashboard, like it was almost like it was waiting for me to turn around.
Got it.
And its hands, I'll never forget his hands because I actually saw him again. But Okay, so think the Grinch,
Yep.
Jim Carrey.
Yep.
Okay, not green. They are jet black, and they are
Right.
not. They are sharp,
Sure. Got it.
right? And so it's got its fingers out like this
Yep.
on the dashboard, resting, and just staring my ass down.
Hmm.
And as I'm looking at it, it was almost like I could feel it, like looking. It was looking like through me, like inside of me, and it felt like it was
Hmm.
something from me. Almost, I don't know if it was like my energy, but it almost felt like it was like taking a piece of my soul with it. And it was just, there was nothing else. It was just the two sockets and this big black mass sitting in the seat, at least being proper. And
Did he have good posture? Was he sitting up straight?
it, that's funny that you say that because it really did. It was sitting like in the seat like anybody else would, almost like its little bottom little legs. And after a couple of what felt like forever to me, which I'm sure was only just a few seconds,
Hmm.
with the staring at me, I instantly like, okay, I closed my eyes. I'm like, you have to go. I'm like, you can't be here. You can't be here. You have to go. Just leave. I was like, I don't want you here. Go away. And then like, peeking with one eye, like look to see, and it's gone.
So far,
Okay.
so good.
So I back the van up. I still go to my aunt's house because heaven forbid I come back without sugar.
Gotta have it.
I get the sugar again straight away. So I'm coming back down the straightaway to where it starts to be an oval again. And right about the time where it splits into the oval, this thing comes out from under the van. And oh my gosh, I have so many goosebumps right now. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
It's like crawling on its belly, right? So it's on its hands and feet, and its
Yeah.
elbows, knees are like bent upwards,
Yep.
like spider,
Like classic creeper. Yeah.
and it's shimmying down the road in front of me. And it's doing that like the ring kind of like phase in and out like really
Hmm.
fast, jittery type movement. And it does it all the way to the road light. It shoots up the light pole, and when it hits the top where the light is, the light explodes and the light goes out. And it
Oh,
has,
like an actual physical thing
yeah,
happened
something,
with it. Okay.
and just pop. And this thing disappeared for like 25 years. I never saw it again until, holy crap, I cannot get rid of these damn goosebumps. Just a few weeks ago, it's 3 a.m. and I woke up because I was hearing this blood curdling scream in my sleep.
Nope.
Like it was a nightmare, right? And
Nope.
so it's a blood curdling scream. I sit up in bed and realize I'm the one screaming.
Hmm.
I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. I just know that I was screaming. I woke my husband up. Everybody was like, what the hell's going on? What's very interesting is I was like, okay, I'm going to go pee. I'm going to get a drink. I'm going to sit down. I need a minute to gather myself after that. And I grab my phone and I have absolutely no service. All it says is SOS.
Okay.
So I asked my husband, I'm like, hey, babe, do you have service on your phone? He's 2 feet from me.
Hmm.
He's like, fine, why? That same day, my car wouldn't start. My computer wouldn't work at work. Any computer I touched at work basically froze and refused to work. My watch quit working. My phone wasn't working. My headphones weren't working. Anything electrical that I was anywhere near malfunctioned.
Did you take your husband's phone and it also didn't work?
No, I didn't do that because
Okay.
he was in bed and I didn't want to deal with it.
That's fair.
However, when I got home from work, I saged the holy moly out of everything and everything started working.
That's incredible.
After the screaming dream, however, this is where he
Hmm.
comes back into play. I was laying in bed, like I said, just trying to relax, just chill because it was crazy. And all of a sudden, I didn't know if I was awake or asleep.
Hmm.
I was on my back, which I never sleep on my back. I always sleep on my side. Um, when you are top heavy, you can't sleep on your back because you suffocate. So, but I was on my back and my eyes were open and I was looking around at the room, but I'm going, okay, it's like 3, 4 in the morning. Everything should be dark, right? But I can see. I mean, barely. I mean, it wasn't real bright. It was just barely could see it. It was almost like a blue tint to
Hmm.
in the room. And all of a sudden, here comes that black fucking hand. And it reaches, like, it just comes out of the corner and, like, reaches towards me. And what's weird was, because everybody's like, oh, maybe you had sleep paralysis. Like, I have never had sleep paralysis. I did not feel scared. I did not feel threatened. Actually, when
That's good.
it was, I had this feeling like it was very familiar. Like I knew it. I
Hmm.
recognized. So I didn't even try to move. I was just like, okay, like you do you. I'm just gonna lay here and relax. You do whatever you need. And it reaches out and literally, like I could feel it. It was like a steak knife out of your kitchen,
No,
just the tip. And it
but
literally,
still.
yeah, it literally here on my bicep and just went like this,
Hmm.
like it was just kind of like scratching
Yep.
times. And it was like almost like enough. It was like, I could hurt you, but I'm not going to. Or like, hey, do you remember me? And that's all it did. And then I woke up and I was looking around and it was 10 minutes before my alarm went off. So I was like, fuck, I get up and get ready for work. So I just shrugged it off and kept going.
Yeah, you got to at that point.
But yeah, it was just so weird to me that I mean it reached out. And so the first time
Did you
it
actually
kept
have the scratches when you woke up?
saying it barely touched me. It didn't touch me enough. I looked,
Okay.
but it didn't even touch me enough to leave a mark. That's the
Hmm.
thing. It's very gentle, which is
Got
really,
it.
but yeah, and it didn't have any really effect on me necessarily. It was just very strange more than anything because I was like, well, that's weird, but I knew it. But the first time I saw it, it kept its distance, right? So it sat in the passenger seat. It had its hand up on the dashboard, but never tried to touch me.
Hmm.
Um, Never tried to do anything to scare me. It literally just sat there and stared at me. Like
Yep.
I had something it wanted, and it was just waiting for me to turn so that it could get it.
You wanted sugar from your aunt's house, clearly. It was like,
Uh,
where are we going to get the sugar? Let's go. Chip, chop, chip. Let's go. Come on.
I have never put this together until just now. So
Okay.
this is interesting. Okay. I think it wanted literally, this is exactly funny. It literally wanted a piece of me. I think it
Yeah.
wanted, there's something. So I am a little different.
Hmm.
Uh, I see things, I hear things, I can tell things to stop or do something and it listens. So they can clearly communicate somehow with me. I'm not sure how that works yet.
Can you do
Um,
that with kids? Because I can't get my kids to listen at all.
I'm really good with kids, which is actually one of the things. I'm also really good with animals. It's really weird, but it's totally bizarre. But I can feel what other people feel. If somebody has a headache, and I call it siphoning, I can basically siphon them, and I can take their headache from them.
That's cool.
I have predicted 11 babies and their genders before their parents even knew they were pregnant. I've also called 5 people's deaths 3 to 5 days before they died, including people I've never met before.
Which is why we're never talking again after this. But yeah, go ahead.
But what I'm saying is I'm
Yes.
different.
Yes.
I just wonder if that is what it wanted.
Maybe.
And that might explain why it only came to me and it didn't go. There were 7 other people in that house, and no
Hmm.
one saw anything even close to this. But nobody can do anything that I can do in there.
Right. But I will, and we can talk about this maybe today or another time, whatever. But I don't always look at ghost schools, goblins as necessarily bad things or entities, but like if it can recognize you as someone special, it might just wanted to use you as a conduit to tell you something, so it would tell someone else something, or to,
Yeah.
when they say, oh, you have unfinished business or whatever, whether or not that part's true, it's trying to tell, it's maybe not trying to take something from you for itself, but it's trying to use you to get what it wants. So
However,
mhm.
um, generally when I see things like that, they are people, or at
Right,
least shaped.
that's
This
fair.
this was not a ghost.
No, this was a
I'm pretty sure that was a demon.
demonic type entity. Yeah.
It didn't want to hurt me. I think it
Mhm.
was like it was using me to like recharge. You know what I mean?
Ooh, okay.
Like maybe recharge its batteries, and maybe that's why it came to visit me again. It just needed to recharge because I remember feeling very, very, very exhausted both times that this thing visited.
Mm.
I was really tired. And I didn't understand why I was so tired, but I almost wonder if maybe that's what it was. It was kind of, you know, stealing stuff from me.
Okay.
So who knows? But we're gonna actually get into the next one. How about that?
Yeah, let's
So
go for it.
that's my creepy. I'm pretty sure my little demon that visits me happened to me. I don't know why I even wrote
I
notes. I
wrote
think it
I
was
wrote down the three things I wanted to talk about, but I don't have notes for them. I'm just gonna
well, I tried to write it out because sometimes it makes it if I read, my brain is not as fanciful when I talk as when I write.
I get
Um,
that.
I worked at McDonald's
Hmm.
and I worked the overnight. Well, I worked all shifts. But one in particular, I either closed or I just worked really late and came home. In this house was my mom, my stepdad, my two sisters. One is about my age, the other one's like 6 years younger, and my brother. Okay, just so you know, kind of what we're working with. I came home. I go to the door, and when you get to our door, you open, the storm door, and then you open the real door. And the way we had it set up was the couch was long ways up against the wall on the left
Okay.
and facing, to the right. And so when you walked in, if you did not go around the couch, you would, your knees would hit the side of it, you would face plant. And then there was the kitchen on the other side. In between the kitchen and the couch was a hallway that went to all of our bedrooms.
Okay.
Okay. So it's late. I get home. I open the door. I look up, and there's a little girl on the other side of the couch that I don't recognize.
Did you burn the house down after that? Because I would immediately just light a match and get out of there.
It gets, I just assume, literally, my brain went, my little sister has a friend over.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's awfully late for her to be up. Does she need something? And so I was like, oh, hey. And before I could even get the word out, runs down the hallway toward our bedrooms.
Mm-mm.
And well, that was weird. So I went in the living room. So kitchen, living room was down, like, one of those
Yep.
old things. And my mom was still awake because, she does what moms do. She stays awake till the kids get home. And I'm home. I was like, hey, does, we'll just call her Sandy. Does Sandy?
Sure.
She's like, no. I'm like, are you sure? My mom being my mom. I'm pretty sure I would know if there was another kid in my. I'm like, okay. And then I'm looking at her all confused, and she's looking at me like, oh shit. She knew.
Hmm.
There was a little girl in here. And my mom goes, what'd she look like? I was,
Mm.
hey, I'm like,
Moms always know.
yeah,
They're always the first to see it.
yeah, I was like, she had long, like straight, kind of like the ring hair,
Hmm.
right? She had on almost like Little House on the Prairie pajamas,
Okay.
like a dress with little, frillies. But when I looked at her, like when I got to thinking about it, I'm like, when I tried to look at her to talk to her, when she looked up at me, she had no eyes. I
Hmm.
mean, just black sockets, just empty.
Oh, so not even like the pale ghost
N-
face, just
It
but
is
so
like
she had sockets though.
if you took like an ice cream scoop and you scooped around your like eye bones and yanked all that out and just made it black holes, that's what she had.
Mm-mm.
And my mom goes, "Oh, you finally saw her." I'm
Thanks,
like,
mom.
I'm like, I'm sorry. I saw who now? Apparently, my mother had seen her, her friend had seen her, like five people had seen this little girl, this just randomly on the property, usually in the kitchen, apparently, is where
Burn the house down.
she never says anything. She never tries to communicate. She literally just kind of goes up and then she's like, oh shit, you caught me. And she takes off. So that's the little girl.
Hmm.
Now shit gets creepy.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Again, this whole waking up at 3 a.m. thing has been a thing for me since I was little. I don't know if it's just a whatever, but at the time, not only did we have our normal like 8 people in the house, we had a uh, family friend who was going through a really nasty divorce with literally a psychopathic ex-husband who
Mhm.
we actually had to, my dog tried to eat him as he hid behind the bushes in a white t-shirt in the middle of the night.
Mm,
Yeah, so not the
good dog.
brightest.
Good boy.
Um, Psycho. Her and her three children were also added to this mix. We had one bathroom.
No, burn the house down.
Yeah. 4 or 5 teenage girls, 2 teenage boys, 2 younger girls, 2 adult women, and one bathroom. That'll come into play in a second. I was in bed and 3 a.m. I'm up.
I assume you were sharing a room with someone if there are that many people in your house.
Oh, we were everywhere.
Okay, yeah. I just didn't know if, yeah, trying to set the scene.
Oh no. Actually, I don't I had a really small room, so I don't think if I could have even
Oh, okay.
I don't think anybody was in there.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not sure. It's 3 o'clock and I wake up and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, man, I'm in high school, right? And I can't get back to sleep. I'm not really that tired. And here in a couple hours, it's gonna be like WWE SmackDown giving people the chair for a fucking bathroom slot. I'll go take a shower.
Mm-hmm.
No one's up at 3 a.m. Gives me plenty of time.
Got
I
all the hot water, you're good.
Yep, we had a well.
Mm.
So you really want it in there fast.
Yeah.
Get in the shower and I'm washing my hair. Just to another disclaimer, I've never seen what is that movie? The Shining? Is that right?
Yeah. Shining's here's John. Are you talking Psycho? Because that's got the shower scene.
Oh, Psycho. Thank you.
Psycho.
See,
Okay, yeah.
I don't watch scary movies. Never seen it, but I've always got this thing with heebie-jeebies on the other side of the curtain.
As you
And
should.
I'm in the shower, I shower, and I'm getting this feeling that there's someone's in the bathroom. And so I, peek behind the curtain. I'm naked in the shower. What the hell am I gonna do, right?
Yeah.
But I peek behind the curtain. There's nothing there. I'm like, okay,
Cool.
maybe it's just me. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and dry off. I have really long hair again, and so I was like, I'll blow dry my hair. I'll go ahead and just get ready. I'll just get ready. I'm done and over with. And the bathroom door opened into the bathroom, and the shower was on the back, like over on the back side.
Okay.
So when you opened the door, it hit the wall. There was
Mhm.
no swinging gap behind the door. It was literally
Right.
you opened it, smacked it right into the wall.
Yep.
I am, but blow dry my hair and blah blah blah. I'm just doing my thing, and I've got the bathroom door open behind me, right? Because nothing's gonna be behind me because there's just a door there. And I go to straighten my hair, and you wouldn't understand this probably because you're not a woman, but when you have really long straight hair, want to be straight hair, you typically will turn, your
Yeah.
head.
To let it dangle to one side so you get it straight. I know.
And so a lot of times when we do that, we will close our eyes. I don't know why. I do. I always have. So I'm running the straightener down. And again, I mean, hair stand up. I feel so uncomfortable. I mean, just willies upon willies upon willies. And I stop the straightener and I'm like, fuck, I've got to look. I've got to look.
Mm-hmm.
And so I look up in the mirror in front of me, and over my shoulder is a fucking man, a grown ass man,
Nope.
just standing. Again, my back is to the door and the door is to the wall. There is no way this dude's behind me, but I am looking in that mirror and he is behind me.
Mm-hmm.
He's just staring at me through the mirror. Bowl cut, sandy blonde hair, probably about 6'1". He had on this, again, with this weird Little House on the Prairie type shirt with suspenders, little button at the top, had 2 buttons.
Yep.
Black eye sockets. No eyes. He just had no eyes. Just blank expression and just staring at me with these black eyes. So I just did what every normal person would do, right? So I closed my eyes again and I looked down and I'm like, he's not real. He's not real. And I'm like, okay. And I opened and I looked and he's still behind me.
Is he any closer?
What's the thing? When he was behind me, I could feel him. Like it was almost like I could feel him breathing
Oh, so
on
he
me.
was like that close. It wasn't like he was in the hallway behind you. He was in the
Oh,
room with you.
yeah, he was over my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And
He's
I
getting
could,
tips on how to straighten hair.
right? with his bowl cut. I don't think I
Yeah.
want his recommendations.
Well,
But
he had problems. He wants tips from you. He
oh,
doesn't
help me.
mess up his hair again. That's what
Yeah,
happened.
hair was banging. It was like straight as
I'm
a board.
sure.
Yeah. She had plenty of time to work on it, I can imagine. But yeah, so there's this thing and it's just staring at me and I look again and it's still there. So I scream bloody murder because that's what I do. And I just ran to my room and did the normal protocol, what any person does in an absolutely horrifying ghost encounter. I threw the blankets over my head for protection and stayed there for hours until my alarm went off.
Everyone knows ghosts can't get you under the covers. That's fact.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
Go.
fact. Scientific fact.
Yep. I kept all these little tootsies under there and I just held on tight
Mm-hmm.
and waited. And when I came back out, he was gone. I never saw him again, but I sure as hell never got in that shower at 3 a.m. again.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Some interesting stuff that happened in that house.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those are all the ones that I'm going to really kind of throw out there.
Cool.
So I want to, excuse me, hand the baton to you,
Yeah.
give you
I have two things I want to talk about before I get into stories real quick because I'm curious. One, all of my stuff happened when I was younger.
Mhm.
And I feel like less stuff is happening now to other people, especially as they get older. And I think it's because I want to get your thoughts on this. I I'm on my phone. I know I'm not supposed to look at my phone before bed, but like from like 18 on, I'm looking at my phone right before bed. I'm not taking a look at my surroundings before I go to bed. That's when I remember like feeling that stuff and kind of not seeing anything directly. But do you think that people are seeing stuff less because they're not looking at anything and they just like look staring at their phones and they're just missing so much stuff?
I'm hmm. I think there's a lot less reports from people. You'll find as much crap as I see and deal with on a almost daily basis. I'm actually pretty skeptical from a
Yeah.
lot of people. But I think a lot of it's, you're right. They're not looking at things or whatever, but so they can't misidentify something, right? If they're not looking at it. We also have all of these movies. You have the Poltergeist, you got the Conjuring, you've got all of these things that are putting it into people's heads that are actually making some people see things that aren't really there.
Okay.
I feel like it's kind of got a little bit of both, but I think it has more to do with the person.
Got it.
Um,
Okay.
maybe like an experience. So, a lot of people say, which is a lot, there's a lot on the fence of both, either, poo poo or all four. Kids, are more open and they see more things, they experience more things.
That
But
makes
just
sense too.
they basically train themselves or they're raised to no longer view the world that way. So they miss out. But in my sense, well, in my experience, if it wants you to see it and it wants you to hear it, it's gonna fucking make it happen.
Okay. I like that.
I think it depends on the person.
Okay. Makes sense. The other thing is, you mentioned waking up in the middle of the night screaming. Excuse me. We're good. To this day, while I've had the tingles and I've had scary things happen to me, the most afraid I've ever actually been is my wife and I don't remember the circle, but we were asleep and she wakes up, she starts screaming in her sleep. And I'm at that point, there's a chemical in your brain that the reason for sleep paralysis is because people who don't have this chemical that's like supposed to help you wake up because you're supposed to be locked in so you don't roll off the bed basically. The chemical is supposed to come in and like slowly relax the muscles so you can move. I was in that part of the deep sleep where I was locked in, but the screaming woke me up. Man, the screaming woke me up, and I went to go try to like comfort her. I was shaking violently and I was speaking. I heard myself speak, but like the words that were coming out were just garbage. They were garbled and they weren't real. It wasn't English. And
Yeah.
then finally I was able to like get a hold of her and like relax and be like, wait, did you hear anything I was saying? And she's like, no. And you're kind of freaking me out after I was already screaming at some sort of a dream. And like, we still look at each other to this day, like, what the hell happened? It was so freaky, and that's like there's no ghosts involved there. There's no like she had a bad dream, victim of circumstance, but it was like that was terrifying that I couldn't like move and like help my wife at that time.
And I think the reason you were speaking gibberish is like you said that
Hmm.
your body slowly starts waking, and you might have had and you were scared
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
so your body's response, was fight or flight, and you clearly were, a mover,
Hmm.
and so your body might have been trying, like you had the chemical you needed, but it was trying to force it down your throat, basically, to
Yep.
be like kind of move, but not very coordinated. And I almost wonder if because I've done the weird in my sleep all the time. Um, and my husband gets kind of creeped out because he says sometimes I sound like a demon because I'll be like in my
Oh
sleep.
God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he sleep
But
with a cross next to you?
yeah, pretty much. Maybe I should put one under my pillow. But I almost wonder if the chemicals are trying to work. And
Yeah.
again, like you could move, but not fluidly. Maybe your mouth was able to move. It wasn't quite there to where you could actually speak. You know what I mean?
Right. It was so weird. Anyway, that was again super terrifying. So I got two things kind of happened to me again when I was younger. The first one is my mother swears I have a guardian angel. Um, when I was, we'll call it 3, 4, 5 ish, I was a wanderer. I still kind of am, but I'm much better
Mhm.
about it. I like to just wander off. That's my thing. To the point where like I'll get on elevators by myself at like 4. And back in the 90s, there was no cell phones. There was no little trackers you could put on your kids. They don't know. My parents don't know where the hell I am. My mom like starts running around the hotel that we're staying at. I got on this elevator. She goes to a random floor, and there I am standing with this woman in like this super nice woman in a red dress, like very like soft spoken, like, oh, I found, he was looking for your mom. He's a little scared, but he's safe now. And she's like, oh my God, thank you so much. Whatever. Fast forward like a year, I don't remember. It's like a year or two later. I think I get lost in like the McDonald's playpen or something like, you know, or Discovery Zone if you had those, something like that. And my mom can't find me again. She's frantically looking around. Um, Same woman, completely different city, same like similar red dress, has me and says, "Oh, I found your son. He's the," and she's like, "Thanks." A little creepy. Those were the only two times that I needed quote saving. However, you fast forward again to like this was probably close to 15 years ago now at some point when my grandfather died, who I was really, really close with. We were at the funeral, lots of friends and family. I probably knew everyone basically there. Uh, I noticed a random woman out like in the cemetery in a red dress. I'm like, Mom, who's that? She's like, Sweetie, I don't know. I don't know who that is. Yeah, real, real creepy, but like in a not creepy way. It's creepy to think about, like the same person being there throughout your whole life in completely different states. And like one was in Panama City, Florida. The other one was probably in uh um either Woodstock or like Melbourne, Florida, where I was. And then this one was in where I kind of like where I live now in Sandy Springs, Georgia. So they were not
Yeah, not even close.
close. Right. It's not like, oh, same town. It's not close. Same time when we were there. So
I
just
wish I could age like this woman, just saying.
you what?
I wish I could age like this woman.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. She probably if I had to take a guess, because again, I kind of saw her from a distance, and when I was younger, I don't remember what she looked like. I would assume she's probably like constantly 48 years old,
Yeah,
just right there, looks great, will stay like that forever. But then I went, so that was I'm trying to get my dates right. He passed away while I was like right before I graduated college. So that would have been, yeah. So I had roommates at the time. Yeah, it was that apartment. So it was like maybe a couple months after that in my apartment. I live on the ground floor of this kind of duplex apartment situation. And my room was right next to the entrance of the apartment. So you had to walk past my room, like just to get into the living room. It was like maybe a month after my grandfather passed away. That front door, which we probably didn't deadbolt it all the time, so it was probably unlocked because we were drunken college kids. It opened up. I heard it open up, and I was like, I assumed it was one of my roommates coming in, even though like we hung out and or maybe someone was leaving. And then my door opened up, and there was no one there. It just opened. The both of them just opened. I wasn't afraid. I had like that really warm
Yeah.
like sense of like
Hmm.
I think this is my grandfather.
Yeah.
Like it was one of those just I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
It's fine. Thanks for checking in on me. You know, we'll
Have a
see you
good one.
later. Yeah. The door stayed open. It didn't close again. I had to go close it. I guess the front door closed because it was just just automatically closed, just swung closed. But my room door did not close, and so real weird, real like circumstantial stuff. But like I hold
Well,
on to those so much.
so I have maybe some thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, so this woman,
Yep.
it'd be really interesting to know if your mother recognized her aside from finding you the other times, if there was any correlation with anybody that looked like that. Because I have heard a lot of spooks showing up. You have the woman in white,
Mm-hmm.
and aside from the woman in white, you always have a woman in red.
Yep.
So they're always in a red dress. And so I am almost wondering, is it a guardian angel? Is it just that you have a very protective spook per se, not necessarily like an angel?
Yeah. When I say guardian angel, I mean like not in the religious sense, and like the protector. Yes.
Like with your grandpa situation, I 100% would probably say that was your
Oh,
grandpa.
we were close. Like
Yeah.
it was a thing.
Sometimes when things happen, they don't always like show up right in front of me, like for my eyes to see physically.
Right.
But when things start happening sometimes, or I feel there's somebody around, if I close my eyes, I don't know these people, right? I've never seen them before, but I can picture who they are. It's almost like they
Mm-hmm.
don't have enough gusto
To
to show,
manifest. Yeah.
but they have enough to project who they are into the person they want to communicate with.
Yep.
Which you were feeling that warm and comforting. I really feel that's, especially, this is gonna sound really probably weird, but if he had just recently passed away, I don't know if he necessarily would have had either as much energy or knew how to use it per
Right.
se. So he was just doing anything and everything that he could to check on
Mm-hmm.
you. My grandpa, that I was really close with, we were also very tight. He's one of the ones I predicted his death.
Oof.
And I knew how, and I knew it was going to be close, but I didn't know how close.
Mm-hmm.
But he's visited me a couple times. A lot of the stuff that I deal with typically when it comes to like very real things, it's always dream related,
Okay.
which I find very fascinating, I guess. So like all these baby things I'm talking about, all dreams. All these deaths, all dreams.
Oof.
Uh, Things I need to watch out for or look for, or people that I know. Like, so my grandpa was one. I woke up, or well, I was in my dream and I woke up, and I was in a Casey's convenience store.
I don't know what that is, but I
It's
know
a
what a
gas,
convenience store is. Okay.
but it has like, chips and drinks in it. It
Right.
was my grandpa's favorite place. He
Okay.
would, every morning, he would go and get coffee and donuts. Well, he would get coffee and a donut. My grandma would harp on him because he's diabetic. Uh, and but I wake up and I'm in this Casey's, and it's like a diner. There's one table, and there's no tables in actual Casey's, but there's this one table with the booth seats, and there he was waiting for me. He had 2 cups of coffee, a
Mm-hmm.
whole row of chocolate donuts, which were his favorites, and he was just mowing them down because he was like, I love it here. He goes, I don't have to worry about what I eat. I don't have to worry about anything. He goes, I can sit. He goes, have a seat. Let's talk.
Hmm.
Owen, how are you doing?
My
And so I
mom, my
can
mom
have
had a dream after my grandfather, her dad passed away, where she was back in her old house in Brooklyn, and she just like opened the door to the living room, and it was her dad, her uncle, and her grandfather all like sitting around a poker table and like, oh hey, you're awake. Don't worry, we're okay. And
yeah.
then she's like, okay, and she like turned around and went back to sleep. And it was like 2 days after my grandfather passed away. So whether or not, sometimes that's just like brain synapses putting things together. And I understand that. Like, I know that's a real thing, but also there's got to be some sort of validity to it somewhere. I just don't know where.
I know there's a difference.
There is.
I can't explain it. You'll only know it if you've done it. I that's
Mm-hmm.
the only way. So when you're in the dream, you know, just like when I mean, I've had multiple dreams about people dying, but they never happen, but they never feel they don't feel right. You know what I mean? But when there's one and it feels that way and I know it, that's when I start to, connect the dots. And with him, I mean, I could feel everything. I could taste the
Yeah.
coffee. You know, I could smell him. You know what I mean? Like everything was there. And then I hadn't seen him for a while. And actually, he gave me a fire hazard warning a couple weeks ago.
Hmm.
Actually, last week. I have a headband that I sleep with headphones in, and it's my favorite ever. And the plug wasn't working right. The little dongle thingy that you plug it in with, it wasn't working right, and I was forcing it in.
Hmm.
And when I, had it plugged in, it was hot when I touched it. But I was like, "Fuck it, it's my favorite headband. I'm gonna use it anyway." And then, like a couple weeks later, I was asleep, and next thing I know, he's sitting on the bed next to me, and he's holding my headphones, and he's like, "You have to get rid of these." And I'm like,
Nuts.
"What?" He goes, "You need to get rid of these." He goes, "You are going to catch your house on fire if you do not stop. You have to throw these away as soon as you wake up." He's like, promise me you will throw them away as soon as you wake up." And I was like, okay. And I did. As soon as I woke up, the motherfuckers were in the
Hmm.
trash. And my grandma's come to see me, and we've had conversations, and it's just chatting or whatever, and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And she hangs out, and it's just different. It feels different.
It does.
And that's one thing that I find very interesting is when people have those. But I really think that that's probably one thing that you had there was him
Hmm.
coming to see you. And I'm guessing from my experience, he probably didn't come again, did he?
Nope.
Nope.
Because
It, it,
he just needed to do one checkup, like, hey, you good? Yeah, we're good. All right. And then I'm using business was finished as a
yeah,
colloquial, like, I don't know what that actually means, but that's the idea.
yeah. How I feel about that concept.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I
I don't know another way to say it, so I'm just using that as a term.
I've had the same situations where it's like, they're there and it's like, how, like, are you okay? I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm good. And they're like, don't worry about it. I'm good. I'm good.
Hmm.
Don't worry about me. We're all right. And it's like, that's all they had to say.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, follow me around. But
Yeah. So, my second thing and my last thing, it's funny you brought up a fire hazard, because I'm convinced my parents' current house has a ghost, but I think it's friendly
oh, okay,
because it's only ever helped me.
nice.
Back when we were younger, I think it used to live in the basement, like all ghosts do. Uh, but it would shut off the power to just the basement only when we were in there. We would go to the circuit breaker, and it wouldn't open the thing, but like the circuit breaker was in the basement on one of the walls, and we would be down there playing, and just it would randomly flip. Like I'm one of three boys, and maybe we're being too loud. I don't know. We would have maybe one thing plugged in, but it's not like we had a whole lot of electric. We didn't have like 1,000 things plugged in and running
Yeah,
a bunch of electronics. It was maybe one or two things, and it would just flip. It would just turn off on us. Every so often. It wasn't like a regular thing, but I would say like 6 times a year. We'd be down there beating each other up, and just power would go just off in the basement, and we just go to circuit breaker, flip it back on. So it's like, that's weird. Whatever. That could be a lot of different things,
yeah.
unless the other thing happened, which It's also funny you bring up some, how Little House on the Prairie overalls thing. I think the brother. I was doing the thing when I was like maybe 8, 9. When you like go to walk upstairs, but you use all fours instead, and you're walking up like a dog because you're weird. Same. And I'm looking down. I'm just going up the stairs because I'm weird. And I look up at the top of the stairs is a little boy in overalls, looks like right out of Little House on the Prairie, but it's like a flash, right? It wasn't.
Yeah.
He's just standing there and runs off like the little girl you had. Mine was what was that?
Like, oh shit.
Didn't think anything of it. Whatever. I was like, weird. Whatever. I'm 9, 10, whatever. Who cares? I go to bed and I cannot go to sleep. I am tossing and turning. I'm just like something is wrong. I don't know what it is.
Um,
Something's happening. I don't know what. So finally I kind of like turn over and I start staring at my wall, and it looks like the wall's moving. It's like little waves almost.
yes.
Wait, and the waves start turning into flames. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired. So I turn back over and I'm like, I did what you did. I closed my eyes. It's gonna go away. It's gonna go away. It's fine. I turn back over. It's gone. But now there's a circle. It's just a circle. I'm like, why is there a circle? As I stare at it more, I'm like, that's a smoke detector. Like you see like the little lines on it. There's like a little dot. It wasn't blinking red, but like it looked like a smoke detector was trying to come out of the wall at me a little bit. Now I'm gonna go talk to my mom. Right?
Well,
Three,
yeah.
three, three strikes. Like, let's go figure this out. I get out of bed, go, mom, mom. I go into her room. She's not in her room. Now I'm freaking out because my mom's in. And she's like, "Wait, I'm down.
Yes.
I'm downstairs." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I tell her everything I just told you, and she goes, "Okay, I don't want to freak you out, but the only reason why I'm down here is because I left the stove on, the gas stove on, and I came down to turn it off, and then you called for my name." And I was like, no, but yes, but no. Like this, some bitch ghost straight up told me that there was an open flame in my house and that I needed to go turn it off. Luckily, my mom just happened to remember, but like
That is so cool.
it was
But part of me's, had your mom not got up, would he have gone to your mom?
no,
Maybe he,
because I saw him and he knew I could see him and then told me later. Like it was one of the I don't know if my mom could see him or not. She's had a couple of like I said, she had the dream with my grandfather. I don't think she's had a real ghost encounter, but
Mhm.
I don't think she's complete skeptic either. I think she'd be open
Yeah.
to something. But I think this ghost knew I was a little bit more we can say sensitive or just open and receptive to stuff like that.
And I think now
And
that
that's why they
you
came
thought
to
of,
me.
had he reached out to your mom probably wouldn't have thought anything of it. She'd be like, God, I'm fucking losing my mind. And she would have laid
Right.
back down.
Mm-hmm.
But knew that he was like, hey, if I get this kid over here, he's gonna fucking get up.
Right.
Like,
After the second attempt, yeah.
yeah.
Because the first one I was like, oh, flames, that's not a thing.
In
Um,
fact, it was flame specific, smoke detector specific.
it was all very specific, and then
Yeah.
there was like an actual conclusion.
Yeah. And it's not like, I mean, I'm guessing, I mean, from a 9-ish year old's point of view, when you see flame and smoke detector, so even if you put two and two together, your mind really only knows one place to go, right? And that's the oven,
Right.
right? Logically. So he knew what he was doing.
Hmm. Yeah. It was very as direct as a message could be, in my opinion. Like short of like ripping the covers off and taking them down the stairs to
Yeah.
the
It,
stove, like which can't
pointing.
happen. Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
freaking
My
fascinating.
my favorite story ever because it's just like it's so perfect at every step. It's like, oh, and then just
Yeah.
So,
And maybe you just saw him in a flash because he was testing you.
yeah, I
Maybe he
think so.
to see, can this kid see me?
Hmm.
Do I talk to him or not?
Hmm. Which also, like, your house, when you say you grew up, had been there for ever, right?
Yeah, like long
I
past.
think I think my parents' house was built in like the 90s or the early late 80s or something. So it hadn't been not it's not like anyone died there. It's not like
Ah.
now no one died in the house. Someone may have died on the property during some sort of war or something like that because
Or
the
maybe
Trail of Tears is actually right next to my house.
where was this again?
Atlanta, basically just north of Atlanta, Georgia. So like there's actually markers around different parts where it says like the Trail of Tears started here. I'm sure there's lots of Civil War battles around Kennesaw Mountain was
I'm
very
thinking
close.
I'm
Okay.
thinking like Oregon Trail because that would have been Little House on the Prairie. War would probably have not been that style
Well, so
because so many kids died at such a young age, traveling. And so if they were traveling through there on like their wagon or whatever.
but they weren't really like we're so far east, right? We're already I mean, you can Savannah's the most east, and then you go to Atlanta and then you can go further on, but like I don't know if there was a whole lot of people dying on the Oregon Trail in Atlanta. We're just I get what you're saying, but I
Mm,
think that style of like just overalls, you know, whatever Little House on the Prairie, I think was all around for as a very
was
easy.
it
I think
yeah,
so.
the same or not?
Yeah, I don't know, but it was. There's a lot more history with like war and bigger tragedies than there is that I know of. With
Mine, there's nothing. The
yeah,
only house that was ever built there was the one they built, and
is this
nothing ever.
still in Indiana, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
See, that could have been more like Oregon Trail, but
not even flat ground. It's all hilly back there.
yeah. Well, that's why they died.
But yeah,
It's too hard. But yeah, that's those are my ghost stories. That's what I got. It's not as I don't have a whole lot of demon stories or anything like that, fortunately, I guess. But like
yeah, fortunately.
I have my two and I hold on to them. So
But those are great. I mean, those were fantastic. From the looks of it, we probably need to wrap this up. I'm sure I'm going to get. Thank you so much for coming on. I loved your stories. They were amazing, and it just makes me not feel so crazy.
hmm. Well, you
Um,
are, but like that's not a bad thing,
I hope I have a firefighter ghost. That'd
right?
be. Ooh, what if he looked like a firefighter?
There you go.
Heck yeah. Anyway, before I get too distracted, um, again, everybody out there listening, the Bar Banter podcast, check them out. They're, like you said, Instagram, Apple, Spotify. Don't forget, don't just listen, give them some love, review them, subscribe, follow, do whatever you need to do. They're great. His three extra wingman that are not able to be with us today are all also fantastic, and I am hoping to get them on the show at a later date. But until then, we'll catch you guys next time. See ya. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please subscribe, rate, and review anywhere you listen. This is more beneficial than you may know and will help others locate the podcast. Don't forget to check out my Patreon page as well. We currently have 2 tiers. The Snallygaster tier that'll get you unedited bonus audio, a sticker, a shout out on the podcast, and access to the private Discord server. The second tier is the Phantom tier, and that'll get you all of the benefits of the Snallygaster tier, plus access to live streams and Q&A sessions, and is the only place you can access all video footage from regular episodes as well as the Patreon exclusive episodes. You can subscribe today at patreon.com/cryptids, creeps, and conspiracy. Don't forget to head over to the TeePublic website and take a look at a variety of merch options that are available. You can also find and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, X, and YouTube. All of these links can be found in the description of this episode under the Linktree hyperlink. Until next time, my friends, dare to believe.